This episode of Nintendo Power Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Power Block and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Power Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the Lots Excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Ed. We have a game to talk about tonight, finally.
Oh, we do. We really do. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm as well as I can be. I'm here. I've been playing a lot of video games and pretty happy about it. And shifting a lot of things in my schedule around to make time for that. So I'm kind of okay with that too. You know, with the Destiny stuff kind of, I don't want to say slowing down, but they've kind of released a cadence to where we're going to start doing Tower Casuals every other week, and then move the Xbox show into that every other Thursday slot. So my Mondays are open now, and my Wednesdays are open now because we moved Boss Rush Podcast to Tuesdays to accommodate some schedules, and my weekends have been pretty empty, and unless there's like a spotlight or something I need to be a part of on one of those nights, that my schedule is kind of evening out, and it's kind of nice.
That's good.
I'm still tired, but that's normal, and I would still like to find another video editor. But other than that, you know, everything's good. Just gotta keep doing the stuff and the things, and you know, there's a lot to talk about today other than Zelda, which we'll get to.
Yes.
But I'm really excited to talk about Zelda, to be honest with you.
I'm very intrigued about one game in particular.
What, that I've been playing?
Power. Yeah.
Oh.
I was so happy that you kind of showed it off. Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yes, that brand new game, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, because everybody knows I did the review for it. When it originally came out on PS4. I believe you're playing the PS5 version, I think.
Yeah, it's the director's cut on PS5. I just went ahead because like I own a lot of these games on PS4 already, and like the upgrades the update to PlayStation 5 versions is only $10. So I went ahead and did that for Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding. I'm gonna do it for Horizon when it comes out, even though I already got the platinum in it. I'm probably gonna play it again, actually.
I'm planning on rebuying the PlayStation 5 one of the remaster, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just spend the $70 for it.
I was actually thinking about getting rid of my PlayStation for a while and just buying those games on Steam, but I didn't realize that I had owned most of them already. So I'm like, well, that'd be pretty dumb to just get rid of something. So I don't know if I'm gonna get like I would like some sort of handheld device to stream stuff to, like a Steam Deck or a Portal or something. Yeah. I might look into a Portal because my PlayStation is hardwired into our internet, and I'm only gonna play it down here in the basement anyway. So I'm gonna look into that, I think, or a Steam Deck maybe would probably be better because then I can stream my Xbox to it as well. But that's a different conversation. I just I don't know. Ghost of Yote. I thought it was Yotai, but everybody is saying Yote, so I guess it's Yote. I don't know. But it had me like I should probably play that first one.
Yeah, with the announcement of that from the latest State of Play, I was going to get a PS5. Once that game got announced, Ghost of Tsushima 2 or the next Ghost game. I'm super cool with them with the direction that they're going with. I don't care what all of these some of these other guys are saying about it, because there's only certain males doing this stuff for clout. Um, but I looked at it and I'm like, oh yeah, this looks really really good. And I will say I have to give it to Sony PlayStation for that state of play. It was really really good. Um, I didn't have no problems with it or anything. Um, I know Microsoft did their Xbox showcase for the Tokyo Game Show, which was pretty good. Wasn't too bad. Um, what I didn't expect was the Square stuff. Um, like Final Fantasy, Pixel Remastered. Uh, I didn't expect that. Definitely Legend of Mana I didn't expect. Um Trials of Mana I did, cuz seeing Visions of Mana be like, "Oh, they're probably trying to catch up with the Mana series on there." But like Legend of Mana, I'm like, "Oh, wow. I think they're the only ones that have it. The collection of mana on Switch doesn't have it. It only has like the three mana games. Final Fantasy Legends 2, I think, was the mana game. Secret of Mana and the Super Famicom version of Trials of Mana that ended up getting localized but never released here in America
Yeah. Well,
before.
they made that remake for PS4 and Switch, which is
Yeah.
just now, which is on it just came to Game Pass actually. Um, so which is a pretty decent game, I think. It's been a while since I
Yeah.
played it, but
Is, is Octopath Traveler 2 on Xbox?
yeah, they're both on Game Pass. Both games are on Game Pass.
Okay, I know I need to buy it. I know I need to buy it on Xbox also, the digital version. Because I own the first Octopath on Xbox, and it's really just for the achievement stuff. Um, but yeah, man, Octopath Travelers 2, yeah, that's such a great game, and like I'm glad that a lot of Xbox players are going to get to try it, uh, or should be playing it if they have it, because man, that was a great JRPG. The Metaphor Fantasia demo I have not played yet or anything. But I'm very intrigued about it. It's getting a lot of good impressions for a lot of people who played it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Xbox is, I think I just been thinking about it because a lot of games are hidden in 2025 for all three platforms, and now I'm just thinking 2025 might be a repeat of 2019 if the games that release next year are like major hits. It's gonna be so much great choices, like a buffet of great games across all three platforms for it.
Mm.
So we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
We shall
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
But well, Corey, let's get into some housekeeping. Uh So, everybody, if you want to support Nintendo Pop Block and our other podcasts, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/BossRush Network. Subscribing to tiers on our Patreon can grant you perks like the new exclusive post shows, voting rights for Sportercast and Video Game Book Club, exclusive questions, threads for Spotlight Podcasts, early access to After Dark, and more. As always, though, your viewership and listenership is enough for us. Subscribe to the Boss Rush Network on YouTube and like this video. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or even if you don't, leave us a rating and a nice review on those platforms. You can find all of our banters, features, listicles, reviews, and more on our website, bossrush.net. Uh, Upcoming and current content, definitely I just recorded a podcast about Final Fantasy 7 with Bill from A Gamer Looks at Games at 40. um and it was a really great discussions that we had, and really show my age of the knowledge that I have of Final Fantasy 7, and um just going back in a time when I was um 17 when that game came out. So it's gonna be out in a few weeks. I will let you guys know when it is going to be available. But we really had a great time, and I kind of said something not offensive or anything, but that might actually be shocking about Sephiroth. So when it comes out, you guys would definitely have to listen to it. And it's nothing too bad, but you would be like, wait, did really? I'm like, yeah. So I'm super excited for you guys to hear that episode. Corey, how about you? Any upcoming content coming?
Uh, there's quite a few spotlights I'm trying to figure out. We did just do one with Billy Basso, the creator of Animal Well, so you can check that out. That's out now. Uh, Stephanie just did one with the studio that did Recurring Dream is the studio that is working on that Desktop Explorer game. That
Oh,
sounds really cool. If you don't know what it is, there's a demo out on Steam. You can actually play some of it right now, but it's basically you are playing the role of a person who acquired a 90s PC from a family member who has passed away, and you're kind of learning and like really learning about this person through the files on the computer and like
mm-hmm.
solving puzzles and putting together this story bit by bit. So it's super cool. It sounds really cool, and we saw it. It was at the PAX Rising booth at PAX West. Stephanie and I actually went and saw it
Ah,
while we were there. So you can check that out.
I might have missed it. Cause that pack Rising booth was packed to the
Hmm.
brim. There were so many great games. Um, that I wish I was able to check out. But I didn't get to see. And stuff. And they had some of the published developers over there too.
Hmm.
That I gotta try to see if I can reach out and talk to them because man, they all of those games over there were really like so good.
Hmm.
Um, at PAX West that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's there was a lot of cool games over there. There's a game I already forget what it's called because I can't remember anything. But it was kind of like a Star Wars Episode One racer style game. Looked really cool.
Mm,
I forget what it's called. I wish I could remember a lot of this stuff. Um, but yeah, and then the last thing I kind of want to plug, which I didn't really get to get posted until recently, was our we did all those little mini panels at PAX with a bunch of different creators and developers and stuff, and our
mm,
the one with Jeff and Matt from Fun and Games podcast finally went up. So that one's up and posted and ready. And you can kind of see the rest of them too. I think we got, let's see. We got a lot of videos from PAX. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 videos from PAX that are all at least 10 minutes or longer. So you can go check those out,
yeah.
including our on site episode. So,
Yes.
which was super fun.
Um. Also, everybody, Corey, your video game book club of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time
Oh,
is
yeah. I forgot. Book
available.
Club went out.
Also, so do get that. And it's such a
Oh,
great time that that video just dropped. Definitely because of Echoes of Wisdom, and
mhm.
Zelda getting a lot of love. It
That
just
wasn't
feels like
planned,
it's
by
the
the
right
way.
time.
So what we do on Patreon, if people aren't aware of our Patreon, you can check it out there. But at the community interaction tier, which is the $3 tier, every month for that tier, we put up a video game book club poll, and that tier or higher can vote on the games that we play for. So right now, let's see. By the time this episode is out, it'll be October. So our December book club will be up, or voting will be up. So right now on Patreon, you can, if you are a patron at any level, you can listen to the Dead Space video game book club for September. So for September, October / October, November, because you get, if you're a patron, you get it a month in advance.
Hmm.
which is kind of the perk there too. At any level, you get it a month in advance. So for September and October's Patreon book clubs, we are doing horror themed games. I think this month is Emio the Smiling Man. So you'll be able to check that out at the end of the month on Patreon, or in November for free feeds.
I got to go pick up my Emio Tuesday. I ordered it from Best Buy, but they were out of stock. So Tuesday I got to go and pick it up. With it, actually, Corey, I had to buy another Xbox controller, so I got a lime green one at Target. For it.
Yeah, I need it. I really need a new Xbox controller, but I have been buying games instead. And yeah, it's time to retire all of these, because all of my controllers are from launch. I haven't all of my controllers except
Mm-hmm.
for no, I think all of my controllers are from launch of the Xbox Series console. So, and I mean, they all
Yeah.
still work fine. It's just like there's like the sticks are starting to get a little loose. The buttons are starting to be, old buttons. I mean, you know how buttons get when they get old, and
Yeah.
so what I need is a new controller. And that Velocity green one was what I was looking at, but I was also looking at that translucent blue one. Except, and this is my biggest problem with Xbox controllers now, is that they all come with those stupid rubber grips, and I'm allergic to that rubber that they use. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't buy them, which is a lot of the reason why I've been holding off on controllers, is because I would like to do an Xbox Design Lab one, but
Yeah.
but Xbox controllers are so cheap all the time now. Like if you just buy the standard ones, you can buy them for like 35 or $40
Right.
regularly. That,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to spend $80 on a custom one plus shipping, you know, when I can get
Right.
two for the same price with free
Price.
shipping on Amazon. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not as cool and they're not custom, but it's like, man, I got to play the price game right now.
I think I think I got the Velocity green one. It's like a lime green kind of
Mhm.
looker. Yeah, that's the one that I got. They had them at Target, and I'm just like, let me run to Target and just grab one because I forgot to order from a controller from Best Buy, and I'm just like, well, I'm at clear at Target. They're standing right there. Let me go grab it because like they didn't have no accessories at Target really. I'm like, well, I'll take what I could get, um, for it and everything. And that just made me think. I'm like, when Switch 2 comes, man, I'm like, I already know I'm gonna need at least two pro controllers, two new controllers for wherever they have. But yeah, that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Yeah. So, and then I probably gotta I know when my pro comes, when I actually get one, because I didn't even do the ordering, the pre-order stuff. I didn't even deal with that. I'm just like, I'll just wait till it becomes available and buy it and everything.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Well, Corey, how about we get into Snacktendo?
Yeah. Yeah, Snacktendo. So I've been on this diet kick since PAX was over. And yes, like it's Saturday. So what I usually do is, like, I eat twice a day, right? I
Mm-hmm.
eat breakfast in the morning when I on the way to work, and then I eat when I get home from work. Um I eat I don't eat a lot. And so, which is fine. Like, I'm not like starving myself, but I don't eat a lot. And so Saturday nights have been the nights, like, from like 4 to 10 p.m. is like, okay, you have 6 hours to eat whatever you want. You better make the most of it. So last night we went to Casa del Rio, which is the Mexican place around here, which is really, really, really
Yes.
good. I got my big fatty fat burrito, which was really good. And you know what really upset me,
What happened?
Ed? You know what really upset me? I
What?
get so excited when I finish my burrito because I know my wife is going to have leftovers, and she always gets the taco salad. And the taco salad always has that really nice flaky, shell. And like
Yes.
she always gets really good toppings. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. And like after I'm done, I'm like, man, 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. I'm like, are you done? She's like, yeah, I finished it. I'm like, you finished it? She's like, yeah, it wasn't as big as it normally is. So I just ate the whole thing. I'm like, no, I was waiting for that.
Oh no!
I was like, I was waiting
Ah.
for the flaky crust. But I after she went to bed really early because kids long story short, my kids are up all the time at in the middle of the
Mm,
night. Just they just wake up and wake us up and they just, you know, I don't sleep well. So we both don't sleep well. So she went to bed early Saturday.
yeah.
And so I just put a bunch of pizza rolls on a plate and cooked them and came downstairs and played some Zelda. Uh and that was my night last night.
Is that when you text me
uh
and everything? It's like
maybe
later on.
maybe
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember,
think
dude.
it's like 11:30 your time, 10:30 my time, um, and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. It's but yeah, I it was good. I also had some cookies last night, which were also very good.
Mm, nice.
Um I've become really obsessed with like vanilla sandwich cookies. And
Oh,
like
those are so good.
I would say like the Oreos, the
The
vanilla
golden,
Oreos. Yeah.
the golden ones. Oh,
Yeah. I
those
would say
are
those.
the anointing.
Like I love those, but like since we go to Aldi, my wife gets the like off-brand ones, which are
Oh,
which
shoot,
are
dog.
which
Shoot,
are
dog.
fine.
Shoot, the other ones be behind big too.
Yeah, but they always come with like there's like 3 sleeves and 2 of them are the chocolate ones and then 1 is the vanilla ones, and
Oh, the mixed.
my
Yeah.
my wife and I both like the vanilla one, so it's like a race to see who can get there first before they're all gone, and then the chocolate ones just sit in a bag. Um, but yeah, I ate quite a few of those yesterday too, and they were very delicious.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
man.
you know what I'm thinking about doing is just going to the store and getting the golden Oreos, like just a pack for myself and keeping it down here in my office. But I know if they're down
Yes.
here, here's the thing: I know if they're down here and I'm down here all the time, I'm gonna eat them during the week, and that's not like that can't
Healthy.
happen. So I don't know.
There should be. I don't know who sells them, but it's the little travel size packs. That come like in a box. But I don't know who sell them. You may have to look around to see who sells them. If you are into it, maybe the gas stations. Some of the gas stations might sell them. But they're like a little small pack. They got probably about 10 to 12 cookies in them. I know the little snack to go little boxes too. They're so miniature and everything. Like you could pop 2 or 3 in at a moment's notice and enjoy them. But yeah, once again, I don't know who sells them. We used to sell them at my job, and I used to see them at certain grocery stores, but I don't see them now. Um, but if you happen to see them, maybe that would work for you instead of getting like a whole pack and everything.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I just I want some. So maybe I'll find some later. But
Yeah, man, with them Oreo Goldens, when they came out with the mugs, boy, folks slept on them for a long time. Me and my sister, we was on it. We could not stop eating those cookies, and they still go good with milk if you like to dip your cookies in milk
hmm. uh chocolate Oreos, yes. The golden ones, not so much.
because of the flavor.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I guess. So I don't know, man. Just what are you snacking on? Because I'm going to talk about Oreos for another like 30 minutes if you don't
Oh shoot,
stop.
dude, I love Oreos. What you talking about?
I know, but this isn't Oreo Pal Block. This is Nintendo Pal Block. So we gotta.
Okay, so which means I gotta go when I'll be in Kenosha tomorrow for a bit. I gotta go get an outfit for um a concert in October that I'm singing at.
Speaking
Um
of outfits, Ed,
yes.
and I don't know. I'm really looking at trying to find a I would say a new look, but I don't really have a look.
Hmm.
I'm at that point in my life where like I'm too old to be dressing how I dress now, right? Just like a t-shirt and basketball shorts and a hat, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like I don't know how to explain it, right? I need to find like a set of clothes that I can wear if I ever leave the house that isn't just like the
So
same 5 shirts that are 12 years old at this point. You know what I
so
mean?
you're looking for style presentation in a
Yeah,
sense.
I don't
Um
know, man. I'm just
s-
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to
so
figure out what to
I think well definitely with style because of your height you have to have kind of a balance of it because what is going to work for you style wise is mostly shirts. Your jeans or your khakis and stuff are
Mhm.
always going to be fine
Well, I
because
know
of
that.
how
I'm
well
looking for shirts. I don't care about pants. This
right
is
well
so I'm sending you this link in the chat.
mhm.
I really want to think that I would look good in something like this, but I know I wouldn't because I'm too wide.
You would actually be surprised and not okay so so you're trying to go for a denim look, all right.
Well, not necessarily. I just
Mhm.
that was something that I really liked. Here we go, guys. Fashion block.
Okay, so this wouldn't work on you. And I think the reason why it wouldn't work on you is definitely because of the pockets where your chest part is at. If you had kind of just like maybe one of the pockets, it would work. This is more for something that if you're if you're you don't wear it out like it's just an everyday kind of wear. This is more of a social kind of event that you would do. So this would definitely be a shirt. If you decide to go with this, it would be something that you need to have open with it. Or if you're gonna close it, it's something that you need like a light khaki blazer to go on top of it.
Oh, I'm not
It's
wearing a
speaking
blazer.
right. It's speaking cowboy with it, but
Cowboy.
you can style that. Like if you literally put it on and people see you, they're gonna get the imitation of cowboy because of the way that the two buttons two um two pockets that's on your chest and everything. So I think you would probably need like you could do something like this, but it needs to be maybe a little bit one pocket and probably a little bit lighter with it. So give everybody heads up, when I worked at JC outlet um in 2000, I was one of the associates in the men's department, so I had to style people for 6.5 years, for actually 4.5 years, I'm sorry, because I got moved to the service desk, but I was still styling people, and so I had to dress a lot of men for uh like teenagers for and kids and stuff like that. Um
Yeah.
yeah, 69.95. Yeah,
Yeah, no
nah.
way. I'm not spending that money.
Mm, mm-mm,
No. I'm just
no.
saying that one has one pocket. So I changed my search to one pocket. I don't know what to
so
do. Anyways, it's fine.
so I think for you, um, I definitely could. What plays good on your skin is mid medium colors and like dark colors, like that will work on that denim would work on you like really good, but due to the fact of the pockets would throw everything off. That's going for your look, but you can pull something that like that off. Like if you definitely had jeans that color, that kind of denim, you would definitely be able to work it because it would look good on your skin. And then you just need to find a shirt that you could work with it, which would probably be maybe like a definitely like a white dress shirt, or if you want to keep it as a white tee, you could do that with it. You could also do a white tee with it.
Yeah,
but it just depends.
I'm starting my search now because I all of my shirts are becoming too big, you know.
Hmm.
And uh all the shirts that I replaced my old shirts with are becoming too big, and I need to find, you know, I just need to get some new clothes is the thing.
So, question to you: um, are you looking for shirts that you want to tuck in, or do you want
Oh, I'm
to
not
just
tucking
have?
anything in. I'm not tucking it.
Okay, so a shirt like that you just show and everything would be something that you want to avoid with it. Because that's a shirt. This is a shirt that you definitely would tuck in. Like I said, unless you're gonna open it up and um kind of have it a little bit flowing with a white t-shirt underneath it or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, I'm not tucking anything in. Not
Yeah.
I would tuck maybe the undershirt in, but not something that's over.
Yeah. So you don't want anything with like a dress shirt kind of tail at the end. You want something that is kind of um evenly out at the bottom that flares out and stuff. Cause you just want to out hang it and everything. Uh
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm just thinking about nicer clothes that I could wear because I'm tired of wearing the same clothes, right? And like
mhm.
everything just kind of feels sloppy right now, and just you know, I don't know, just strange.
Well, I am your style guy. If you ever need, um, I have the photos to prove it with my style. Uh, to give idea for the look and everything. Um, for me, everybody, welcome to Fashion Block. uh, for me, what I've been snacking on, I got some Chipotle today. Literally, I told my cashier today, I'm like, look, we both got to work. We didn't eat breakfast, and I know we starving. We both can't really leave the store because we busy. So you want Chipotle? Since it's down the street, and can you go pick it up? She's just like, yeah. So I got her and me Chipotle today. She got the tacos, and I guess she really liked them. Of course, I got my bowl. Um, I got some chicken tenders from the grocery store, like a fat bucket, which was really good, very delicious. I got the Catalina chicken, or whatever it is at Taco Bell. I got a burrito yesterday. Man, I maxed that with the quickness before I went to rehearsal. I'm just like, ooh, this is so good. And found out they got like this that they got that kind of chicken in a bowl. So I'm gonna order one of the bowls when I get a chance. But yeah, that's pretty much in Domino's. I ordered Friday. And I did that for the team at work. I got the supreme and pepperoni pizza. And then some chicken lo mein. I'm back to um eating some chicken lo mein. I missed my spot because I was saving up for packs. And so I made some sacrifices some foods, some snacks. So I had that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I really been snacking on and drinking a lot of water. Um
Mm,
and stuff. So kind of held back on some pop and kind of cut down on the Snapples and just been drinking a lot of water um for my age, I should say. Yeah.
mm.
Well, Corey, now I want some Oreos tomorrow. That's what I'm going to straight look for. How about we get it to play with power? Okay. So everybody, me and Corey have been playing The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I think let's say that last Corey, since I feel like that's going to be a joint discussion for us. Um, I've been playing more of Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Enjoying the story. I'm like at level 22 for my characters. I'm kind of overpowered for some things. Um, I am still learning kind of the ropes and stuff. I'm in a town where the enemies are a little bit more powerful than me. So I'm probably going to end up grinding so I could end up, getting more levels quicker and then fighting. Um, the voice acting is so good. It really is funny here and there. I haven't seen Majima because he likes to show up in the Yakuza games and stuff. Oh, his own game is going to be funny as ever, and I cannot wait. But I'm enjoying that on Xbox. Since I've been spending time playing that on my Series X, it's one of my backlog games that I'm literally trying to get done, trying to play and finish. Because right now there's nothing until Indiana Jones really for Xbox. So uh, Adventures of Mana and Star Wars Outlaws I still need to get, but I think I'm gonna now wait for Star Wars Outlaws until that update happens and stuff, that big update. Um, so I'm not so much in a rush to get that unless I see it like on the sale. I'll snag it. And Visions of Mana I'm gonna wait to because I'm playing so much other stuff between Xbox and Switch. So what about you, Corey?
Well, earlier today I played some Mario Kart with the kids, so that was fun. Um, they really, it's I think they just like to pretend that they're playing because they like to pick the characters and the cars, but like sometimes like they don't have the mental capacity to just sit there and play the play the game because like halfway through like the second race, my son gets up and starts running around, or like partway through a race, my daughter's like, and she just puts the controller down for no reason and just gets up and starts doing something else, and then she'll come back at the end of the race and be like, "Let's play again." And I'm like, "You didn't play this time." uh, but it's okay. They're having fun, so whatever.
I feel like that's you and the kids like bonding time. Like I
I
enjoy
wish.
that.
I wish we don't really play video games a whole lot together. They just maybe it's my fault because all of the consoles are mine and I don't want them touching my stuff unless I'm with them, which is fine. But like, I mean, I just don't. They just aren't exposed to it enough, I guess. Um, so I guess that's probably on me. Uh,
but it's still a good, nice bonding time with the kids.
yeah, but my daughter is really like she wants to watch me play the new Zelda game.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll do that at some point. Um, but I've also been let's see, what was I playing earlier besides Zelda?
Well, what are your thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima? I want to hear that.
I'm gonna get there. I'm just
Okay.
I played around with the new Ninja Turtles DLC, the Radical
The
Reptiles DLC, which
Yeah,
is just
I need to update it for that.
yeah, which is just two new playable characters and a couple new kind of things going on with that. So that's been really fun. Really deep pool for Mona Lisa. I gotta tell you. I mean, Mondo Gecko isn't really a deep pool, but Mona Lisa is a really deep pool. So,
Right.
uh, you know, there's that. And then I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. I played about 3 hours of it. It I again, I've only played 3 hours. I don't really have like a well formed opinion.
Hmm.
My initial thing is I don't understand why people like this and not the new Assassin's Creed games, because I feel like those games control much better. I feel like the map is
Hmm.
laid out much better. I feel like the objectives are more varied. But uh, again, that's only after 3 hours of initial thought. But it's uh, it's interesting. The story is interesting so far. I've been trying to hit all the markers on my way to the main quest markers, which has been, very stalling for me because of clearing the map. So, uh, but I like it so far. I'm definitely gonna probably keep playing it. Um,
What did you
so
think of the intro when you're running through the field and the music is going like uh
uh,
uh
it was fine, I guess. I don't know. It was I it was fine.
I thought you would probably be amazed of it because of the color scheme and the art with that, the look of that.
I mean, it's right now the game is fine.
Mhm.
It's not blowing me away. I've played several games that are just like this. It feels like so far. Um, so I will like again. This is only after 3 hours, so
Okay.
there will be a point where maybe it grabs me and be like, oh man, this game's amazing. Because there's a lot of games that don't do that until halfway through the game for me, right?
Mhm.
So, uh but yeah, it's so funny that people like love this game and don't like the recent Assassin's Creed games because they're very similar.
But I think with the Assassin's Creed game, they feel overwhelming because there's so much to do in that
So
game.
Ghost of Tsushima is the same way.
Ghost of Tsushima, I think
There's a new map marker every 5 feet.
well, that is true. I think definitely for me, and I enjoy the Assassin's Creed games. I think they're fantastic. Um, and everything. And I don't really hold them up to any kind of standards. I just want them to be great games.
Hmm.
I think with Ghost of Tsushima, because this is a Sucker Punch game, and my love for them with the Infamous series,
Hmm.
is that I think I'm so into Japanese culture
Hmm.
and it having that cinematic flair that they went, because I have always been like a big supporter of Ghost of Tsushima. When the fresh trailer came out, be like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm super excited. And so when I see this color palette, when I seen the color palette on PlayStation 4, and I got the game, I was just so enthralled by everything. Getting that intro run, like on the just running on a horse, and just like, oh, this is so relaxing and breathtaking, and taking everything in. Like it was just it just felt something different from Sony, from Sucker Punch, and from Sony developers and stuff. Like it wasn't dark and it wasn't dreary. Like it didn't feel like a Naughty Dog game. And it's just like, man, something about this feels super fresh about it. And I think it's because of that time and the games that Sony was going for
Hmm.
on PlayStation 4, that I was just like, I no disrespect to Naughty Dog, but I just felt like this is their idea of what a game should be. And to me, it just didn't feel that way. Like Naughty Dog's games weren't really hitting for me. But like Ghost of Tsushima just did something for me. And I think it's because of me being into Japanese culture, and
Yeah.
loving that presentation of that game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game by any stretch.
Mhm.
It's very good. It's very interesting and fun, and I am into the story and the characters. It's just I just haven't gotten to the point where it's grabbed me. And like, you know what it makes me excited for is the Assassin's Creed game that's set in Japan. I can tell you that's
Oh,
what it makes
Shadows.
me. Yeah.
I do. I'm so upset that it got delayed and it's now going to be in February. I'm like, oh, crud. I'm like, you literally just messed up my finances, because now I got to figure out. I'm definitely buying it, like Series X. I'm buying it for Series X.
Mhm.
Um, I was looking so forward to that game with it, but and I know everybody's been joking about it. Oh, they seen the PlayStation 5 game, so now they got scared. No, they trying to make sure that that game is polished and stuff. Because even just looking at the demo, when Ubisoft had their showcase, I was just like, yeah, I'm definitely going to need this game.
Mhm. Yeah. I just you know, I'll be interested to see how this story unfolds and um, you know, unlocking the different combat styles and stuff. I think that's also something that's throwing me off too. Is like I've been so used to shoulder button combat, and this switches to
Hmm.
the face buttons, and that's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But um, yeah, I don't know. It's good. So um, I think so far there are definitely games in Sony's pantheon specifically that have grabbed me faster. Um, Horizon being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would even go as far as to say God of War, and I think those games are, you know, good, not great, but um, I'll see it through. So,
That's good.
uh, and then Echoes of Wisdom, which we'll have a discussion about. Um, so
Mm,
I don't,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Um, I I said on last episode that it's not going to be Astrobot like the Metacritic and stuff. But it's done a good job. I think it's at a 86, 87 on Metacritic. I know the performance issues, everybody. You know, uh, but man, I've been playing this game since Thursday when I brought it, and I've been putting so much time in it. Who would have thought that collecting these echoes would be not only fun, but really necessary? Um, and everything. And it's such a mixture of past Legend of Zelda games. Like, it has that link between worlds kind of feel to it. It has that Breath of the Wild slash Tears of the Kingdom ideas and feel to it. While still being like its own fresh Hyrule Zelda game. Like there's just so much to this game, and it's hard to pinpoint that. I'm like, yeah, it feels original, and it doesn't feel like a sequel, but so many elements from the past Zelda games and even the latest Zelda games are incorporated in this game so well. Um, and when we did play the demo at PAX, I didn't expect this to like beat my expectations of what this game was going to be. For it. Like it gets it is very intriguing story, like a really good mystery. And I can't spoil anything because I don't know how far you are at, Corey. But man, I really love how everything is playing out in the freedom that you have. But
hmm
also just making sure that, man, once I defeat that enemy, once I see his echo, let me grab it. Or if I see this
hmm
thing, let me grab it. And there's still stuff that I'm still fighting out.
hmm
Um, I think that's why people have been throwing out what you're doing this weekend, and you see Zelda sleeping on the bed. You
yeah.
know,
I think every single one of my friends on Switch was playing Zelda this weekend. I'm
yeah.
probably, yeah. It's yeah. So I really love how this game is set up. I think it starts out great. I think they've been killing it with Zelda intros recently. I mean,
Hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom and this are just they do a great enough job of setting up the story while teaching you the mechanics while not making it feel like a sludge, right? Because
Yes.
that was the big knock against Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword was like the intros are like 3 hours long and it's just a slog, and I disagree to an extent, right? I think the internet is just overly whatever. I think Wind Waker's opening is the worst out of the three of those games, but
Oh, interesting.
in terms of just how sluggish and just fetch questy it feels. But um, I think Echoes of Wisdom does a great job of like setting everything up and the way it opens up. I don't really want to spoil it for people who haven't like played it yet because it does
Hmm.
open very different from what you expect it to open. I think.
Yes.
Um, and and then it goes into that section that we played at PAX, right? Like that's kind of, but there's cutscenes and story to it now.
Yes.
uh and then you land out, after you get through that section, you're out in the world and you just kind of, there is kind of like a sort of linear path in that first, up to the first dungeon, I would say.
Yes.
It's relatively linear. I mean, you can kind of walk around and go do whatever you want, right? But like to progress, you do kind of have to do that first dungeon first to
Mm-hmm.
progress things. Uh, but yeah, I love the ecosystem. I love the like strategy aspect of it, of having enemies that fight for you, right?
Yes.
I think it's so fun, and like I was wondering if you're going to be able to, because like certain enemies you start out with like three use, I don't know what they're called, like the tri rod, like you can have three echoes, right? But
Uh-huh.
think of them as like usage points, I guess. So a lot of items cost one, but there are some echoes that cost two and some that cost three of those usage
Mm-hmm.
points. And so like sometimes you can only summon one echo at a time if you have the three usage points. I am
Yeah.
glad that you can unlock more, and I'm really intrigued to see how many you can unlock at a time, right? Because I think that's going to allow you to not only expand how you solve puzzles, but also like, oh, I'm getting swarmed by a group of enemies. Let me pull out, two sword guys and
Mm-hmm.
a spear throwing guy and maybe one of those rolling armadillo guys. Um, and maybe that'll, help a little bit. But I've probably unlocked probably 20 or 25 echoes so far, at least.
I'm pretty much probably over 50 at this time.
Yeah,
Um, I
you've been playing a lot more than I have though.
yeah, I won't spoil anything and
Mhm.
stuff, but it is um it is something part it is part of the game, I will say. And uh at some point you'll be able to improve yourself,
Mhm.
improve try, I would
Mhm.
say you'll be able to improve try at some point in the game, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, now I see where this openness comes from, because there are some things that be like you could tackle stuff any way that you want to. It, like I said, that link between worlds kind of design idea gets placed in the game. And so that freedom that you actually get will open up for you to improve try with it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm not trying to spoil anything. I really want you to discover um, how all of that plays out and everything. Um, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I I also think that first dungeon is very, it does a great job of like utilizing the tri wand and the things that you found.
Hmm.
It's not the standard, oh, I have to go find this thing to kind of do this thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not it's sort of like a traditional dungeon, but it has new twists on it, and it's very interesting. Especially when you unlock that first ability with the tri wand that's not making echoes, um,
Yes.
and uh, it's just really unique, and like going into the still world, right? And like the way you get to that first dungeon is really interesting and fun. It reminds me a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, specifically
Hmm.
the Sky Temple, like how you have to get up to the Sky Temple by, doing all the
Yeah.
cool, things there. So I think this is a really fascinating way to tackle the solve the puzzles how you want, when like like how you want, when you want, a lot
Yeah.
of freedom, a lot of interesting twists to the 2D Zelda formula that I think it works better than the 3D formula almost in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously maybe not to the extent of Tears of the Kingdom in terms of building like the massive uh robots or whatever that people, or
Yeah.
ships, but although I did see people posting stuff online that they were building things. So
Mm.
who knows,
Yeah.
maybe I'm I don't know. We'll see.
There's
But I really love it.
I think there's different ways of solving puzzles. Or and it doesn't hold you by the hand. It's just like experiment
Mhm.
Go fight these enemies. If you are in a new area, do whatever you can to fight those enemies and stuff. And that's why it's just like, man, if I could block, if they could fight this enemy, I'm gonna throw this bed out and I'm gonna just sleep on it and get some energy and stuff.
Mhm.
And you literally could recover without having to look for a fairy or cutting grass for hearts and stuff. If you could time stuff just right, you could lay in the bed for your echo and recover and stuff. So there's so many uses of a lot of the enemies and items that you acquire that you could use for the echoes, and it plays so well in so many ways. I think that's why some people feel like, well, it feels like it's the Pokemon uh effect to it. I'm like, yeah, this game wants you to collect as many as you can
Mhm.
for it. And I that's what I kind of I think that's what got me so hooked about it and everything. And as you go and unfold the map, there's just so much that's in there, and there's so many little details and side quests that you can that will help you in the game and stuff. Like I'm on the quest of getting as many heart containers that I can,
Mhm.
um 4-piece heart containers. And if I see what I do like about this also, Corey, at some point, when I mean that you could go anywhere and hop on anything, depending on what echoes that you have, you can literally walk on trees on this game.
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
like
I
it
mean, you have to do that to get to some of the heart containers, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I mean, like you, I've been, every time I see a heart container, I stop and try to figure out if I can get it or not, and I will sit there and try really hard until I do.
Yeah. So I'm definitely am loving this game. I think, to me personally, this is like literally my game of the year. Big nomination. Uh Not just for Nintendo. Um Hellblade 2 is already a nomination for Game of the Year. I've already said that. It's going to be so hard to be like, man, does Zelda get it? Like, that's going to be for me, as for Boss Rush, it's going to be a struggle with those two games. Hopefully, being in nominations together, it's going to be a struggle on what to choose because they both do separate things very good, very well. Um, and I'm coming away from those games super impressed, super in love with it, and everything. Like, Hell, I go back to Hellblade 2 because I think that is one of the best Series X games that is out
Mhm. I
for the console, like
I
first party wise.
yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, Hellblade 2 is, I know people have a lot of mixed feelings on that game, but
Hmm.
for me, I think Hellblade 2 right now is the game to beat for game of the year. But Zelda, it depending on how Zelda goes, right? I mean, it's gonna be close, I think.
Yeah, and I think for me right now, it definitely is Zelda. Um, and that's not, like I said, that's not nothing to take away from Hellblade, but I'm just like, if anything of a if Echoes of the Wisdom don't never win anything, or people come away from it with every impression and stuff, and people are looking for bigger adult games, mature games, I should say, I think Hellblade 2 definitely earns its spot in any category that is in. Not only is it technical, um like a beauty to look at, the gameplay is good, that story is very driven, and it's just it Team Ninja, not Team Ninja,
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory should be very proud of that work for it. And same with Grezzo and Nintendo. Like, this game, Echoes of Wisdom, is Echoes of Wisdom. I could definitely say nobody's talking about it because they don't want to ruin this game that just came out. They're literally just like, we're not talking about this game until we're ready to talk about it. So it really is a game that it's that Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom that I'm shutting my mouth because I don't want to spoil anything, and it's something that you have to find out for yourself about this game.
Hmm.
For it. Like like I'm not even mad about Astrobot. People didn't talk about that game because they were showing the challenging levels, and that's great for people who are loving Astrobot and stuff. But man, just Echoes of Wisdom. I think since it came out on a Thursday, and it's a game that people are playing for this week. I mean, during the weekend since it's released, it's just a game that nobody doesn't want to spoil because there's so much in it, and there really is no right or wrong way to solve puzzles and stuff. You
Hmm.
you have to be creative in that space.
Yeah, it really reminds me of when Animal Well or the Elden Ring
Mm-hmm.
DLC came out this year. Of like, hey, there's things in this game that you don't want to spoil for people because it's exciting to find it. So
Yes.
don't spoil it. And it really has that vibe to it. Almost like when I mean, it was also like when Tears of the Kingdom came out last year. It was like, don't
Mm-hmm.
spoil it because there's a lot of cool things in this game that you're going to discover. Uh, and so it makes me want to go back and replay Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom again after this, maybe. I've been thinking a lot about Zelda anyway, like the entire series, and
Series.
how I kind of want to go play through them. I need to play through them again at some point, and obviously maybe not all in a row, but I think I'm going to try the next year or so to kind of go back and play and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I definitely. I just can't go back to Zelda 2. I might have to force myself, but I don't. I feel like that game needs a remake so bad because there's just so much. So I think the rewind feature would definitely help me with that game. But I'm like, the hit detection on that game with that butter knife, I'm just like, I can't with this game and stuff.
Mm.
Um, but yeah. So, any other impressions of Echoes of Wisdom, Corey? I'm sorry if I talked too much about the game. I'm
No,
just so enthralled with this
I was
game.
just assuming we were going to talk about this game most of the episode anyway. I really like the twist that you play as Zelda. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I am glad that there are some kind of like there's a twist on the traditional kind of play style, right?
Yes.
Well, I guess the sword bearer was revealed in a trailer or something, right? So
Yeah.
there is like the sword and shield style combat, but there's like a meter to it, and like it's an ability, it's not your default, which is
Yes.
interesting. Uh, so I like that. I wish you could just switch on and off sometimes because combat does get kind of annoying trying to like switch through the echoes and
Yeah.
trying to figure out which ones. Okay, well here's a combat one. Here's a combat one. Well, this enemy's flying, so I need to go find this enemy, this echo with the spear that you can throw. Or I did find a flying enemy, which was cool that I could use. But then they like disappear because their health isn't as strong as the enemy, and it's just kind of like
Yeah.
it's annoying, kind of annoying, but not. It's I mean, it's not annoying. It's just like okay, I wish you could maybe quick, like almost like hot, like hot key some of these,
Yeah.
like items in Ocarina of Time, right? Where like you can assign the items to the C buttons and you can swap them on the fly, right? I wish you could do that and be like, okay, here's the ones that I use the most. So let me swap to this, let me swap to that. And then if I need something else, I'll go through the menu. Or if I find that I need something else more, I'll swap it out for the other one, right?
Right.
But I do like how intuitive it is that it uses the Tears of the Kingdom like button mapping almost to a T, right?
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Um, I do like the discovery of the map. It feels like they kind of I know they're using the Link's Awakening art style, but it is very Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom discovery style, like, oh, I'm gonna go over here. Oh, there's a cave here. Let's go in here. Let's see where this leads. And then it pops you out on the other side of the map in a place where you're like, oh, I don't really need to be here, but let's go explore. And then you find those fast travel points, which is really nice. And
Oh, those have been a big help, dude. They placed them in the right places for a lot of stuff
yeah,
in that
and there's a
game.
lot of them too, which makes it nice, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to like complete shrines to make them viable ones, right? So that's nice. Uh, so yeah,
I,
I'm really enjoying my time with it. This is the game. I've been stuck between games for such a long time, and I haven't really
mhm.
figured out what to play. I thought it was going to be the Plucky Squire, but that I don't know. They updated it, and it's just still like really sluggish and slow. I don't know if I'm going to continue playing it. It's that game made me
Enough.
that game upsets me that it's not as good as I wanted it to be, in my opinion.
It looks like it had a lot of promise, and then everybody kind of coming away from it like, oh, that's not.
Yeah, I also think that it got so hyped because of what it looked like and the art style and like, oh, it kind of reminds
Yeah,
you of a Zelda game that I think people were expecting a Zelda game out of it, and it's not at all a Zelda game. Um,
yeah.
so I don't know. It's fine. I don't need to continue. uh,
I put on I tweeted out, come on Zelda girl, you better hop and bop in that vase because I found out that you can jump in the vase and then she could hop
yeah.
and bop when you move her. I was
Mhm.
just laughing. I was like, come on Zelda girl, you can hop and bop in that. You better hop
Yeah.
and bop in that vase. Trust me, you're going to need it for one section. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's really fun. Um, this is the game I think I was waiting for. Uh,
mhm.
and I'm excited to continue playing it. I want to know how long it is because
Corey,
it seems a lot longer than I think anybody maybe anticipated. Because
I think
you're thinking of an experience like Link's Awakening just by looking at it, right? But the map is
yes.
way larger. The puzzles there are way more just land puzzles like
Hmm.
out in the world that you can solve.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you have the rifts and the dungeons and the still world stuff, and there's just a lot to this game.
Can
So
I say this soundtrack is insanely good?
yeah, it's really
Like
good.
I popped off Thursday, and I know David knows about this. I was just like, I need them to do a Symphony of the Goddess 2 with just the soundtrack. It is so good, and definitely listening to my Sony headphones, I'm like, this is so beautiful. Just almost every track. I still gotta go through the list. I'm like, what is my favorite? Because a lot of them are just like brand new arrangements, and it's uh, of course everybody know Nintendo soundtracks are always like top tier, top notch for me. When I
Mhm,
listen to it, but man, Echoes of Wisdom, I'm like, I could just stay in this area and listen to it. I could stay in this area and listen to it. It's so calming in this area, and it is so good. I'm like, did you get an orchestra to make this for some of these tracks? Because like,
I mean,
uh,
I think it is fully orchestrated, isn't it? I think,
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was just like, yeah, Dragon Quest this game orchestra. I'm like, yeah. I just had to bring that up because I think that was my first like couple of tweets. I'm like, I'm not trying to spoil anything in this game, but this music, man, if Zelda doesn't win soundtrack of the if Echoes of Wisdom don't get soundtrack of the year, I literally don't know what to say after that because
mhm,
it is so good. It's like top tier, top notch with it.
mhm,
So
yeah,
well, we definitely will be playing more, everybody.
highly
So
recommended.
oh heck yeah, highly recommend it. Um, so yeah, and I can understand why the game didn't get tens. I can understand the nines and the eights and
Yeah,
stuff. And everything like the performance issues. It is what it is. It could be better. But I to know that there's gonna be more 2D Zeldas to stay. And this is this is good news because this is more work for Grezzo and them coming up for ideas. I think a lot of the hiccups and everything could be fixed in the Switch 2 versions. If they start doing that. Of the top down 2D Zeldas come to Switch 2. And it has more power and it likes running at a smooth 30 or a smooth 60. Um I literally feel like that it could be some of the best 2D Zelda games, and that that style of the Zelda series could finally make its comeback, and be kind of complimentary to the 3D Zeldas. Like it would now be a game that's for everyone, depending on what style you choose to play.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's good. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.
well, Corey, how about we get into Family News?
Oh yeah, I think I accidentally closed the dock because we were talking and I just hold on, let me get there. Yeah, Zelda's really good.
I can't believe like the king and his two helpers got caught up into it, and then they just came out. And so I think that's where we seen that's where we get into the demo when the king gets into the rift, and then these echoes are coming out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, how did you feel about Link's fighting Link? Like, was that something you didn't expect? I didn't
Well,
expect it.
I knew that going in. There was a there was a thing that showed that you had to fight Link at some point.
Okay, I might have missed it.
Yeah.
For I knew that Zelda was getting the sword, like she was turning blue. I know I seen the
Uh-huh.
screenshots that Nintendo put out about that, but
I
I
think
didn't
it
expect
was
it.
part of that trailer that
Oh,
to get the sword you had to fight this sword.
mm,
What do they call him in that game? I forget what they call him. They don't call him. A lot of people don't really call him Link in the game, um, which I guess
I,
is fine because you always choose your name when you start. We just all know him as Link, right? So
yeah, the hero, I should say. That's what they call him.
yeah. All right, let's get into family news, Ed.
Yes.
Our first story is a rumor that Switch 2 could launch early next year, claims accessory company. Oh, okay. The new system is believed to be, quote, ready to go. There have been all sorts of rumors popping up about the Switch successor, and now there's another individual has chimed in. The latest claims about Nintendo's next gen hardware come from Ruben Mercado, the CEO of video games accessory manufacturer Blade. Speaking with Spanish website Vandal on a podcast recently, Mercado reportedly believes the new device is apparently done and ready to go via Metro, which is something that we've heard before too, right? They've just delayed it to make sure their games are ready.
Mm-hmm.
To add to this, the exec claims Blade already has access to near final versions of the hardware and supposedly thinks the new Nintendo system could have a simultaneous worldwide launch in March or April of next year. So yeah, that's I don't know. There's not really much here, but we do know once accessory companies start saying they're going to put stuff out, that the system it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming soon. So, um, how are you feeling about that rumor, Ed?
Um, I think with the accessories they have a little bit more weight to the rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I could see maybe March or April, like we did say, they kind of want to probably bring it out by the time the new fiscal years comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it really is gonna like Metro Prime 4 is going to be the game, but we just gotta see when that releases. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think they may push it out to. I think the system may get delayed still to the fall, but we just don't know yet.
I mean, they're gonna if whenever they put it out, it's gonna sell out, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's gonna sell. So I don't think Nintendo really cares when they put it out. I think
Mm,
the biggest the two things, right, are your third party partners who are expecting to put games out to contribute to their fiscal years,
yeah.
and accept the accessory partners, because you don't
Yes.
want them to sit on inventory, right? That will kill you as a
Mm-hmm.
as an accessory creator, or like, you don't want inventory just sitting. You want to move that inventory out. And so those are the two things that maybe they have to look out for. But also, Nintendo is Nintendo, and they kind of do what Nintendo wants to do, for better or for worse, all the time. So um, I would expect them to just launch it when it's ready.
Yeah. My thing is, if there was going to be any accessory that was going to say something, it would be Scandis. And Scandis has no one
Well,
knows
not
anything what Scandis is doing. But I
I mean,
think
not
because of
necessarily. If they're going to use SD cards or mini SD
mhm,
cards, then they don't need to say anything. They just sell them, right? I mean, they just sell them. I mean, I know they
and
sell like the Nintendo themed ones, but
yeah,
those could be used in 3DS. So
yeah. But I think if people start seeing the packaging or they start seeing that Scandis is putting out more cards and it's connected to Nintendo and everything, and it's not really like Switch related. Um, and I'm just saying that if there was any accessory who I would trust to say that Switch 2 was coming out, would be Scandis. I should say that better because of they do like everything memory card wise and
mhm.
stuff. So they would definitely have more information than pretty much I think you do even with third party or stuff or any kind of rumor. Like if Scandis, if their stuff get leaked or someone's talking or someone from there is talking, I'm probably gonna end up 100% believing them because of what they do for it. So
Yeah.
um, if they decide to do March or April, um, that's that's it's so weird because you want to make sure that you get the successor out at the right time, and I don't know if March and or April is the right time because of all of these other games that's not only coming to the other consoles, but the stuff that's just releasing for the regular Switch right now. And definitely we want that confirmation for backwards compatibility. Like once we get that confirmation, then we'll be like, okay, maybe it is coming out in March and maybe or April. I really feel like they probably waiting for a good time to release it, which will definitely be the fall. If they want to do the summer, that may be probably the best time when like no one has much to play for it, you know.
Yeah, especially like if all these, because fall is usually like a dead time for most of these companies, right? And
Mhm.
so if Nintendo can get into maybe that May June window, right? And
Yes.
they drop the console then, and then they start having that release cadence like they did with the Switch, right? Like, you know, game like a new game every 6 weeks. Like, they could dominate the summer, right? You launch with whatever that new Mario game is probably going to be, right? I would
Mhm.
assume you get that Metroid Prime out, you get, some of these other games out. I think that would probably be the best for them, honestly, because they would dominate. They would dominate the summer. Kids are,
Oh yeah.
even kids are coming home from college, working their summer jobs. They're going to have disposable income. The hardcore are going to buy it no matter what, right?
Mhm.
Families going on vacation and they're looking for things for their kids to do in the car or on the plane or whatever, or whatever, right? Like that just makes a lot of sense at this point. So,
Right,
um,
because it's definitely going to be at the time. Okay, they're dropping the console. We getting a new Nintendo Direct. What's going on? Like, and then Nintendo wants to do a big marketing push
Mm-hmm.
So like they want to make sure that to let everybody know the system is out. We got these great games coming. All of this stuff is dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And shoot, I don't know. Maybe that stuff will force Microsoft and Sony to be like, in order to counteract this, they're them going hard with their new system and games. We got to get some of our first party and our exclusive stuff out, so people know that we also got stuff. Because I'm like, if Microsoft and Sony uh sit back and watch Nintendo just eat everything up, they may regret it. I don't know. It's very weird. It'll be very weird in 2025 when they release the system. Now, when they show it though, we got we got 3 more months. Well,
Mm-hmm.
at the time of this recording, we got 3 more months. But by the time you guys see this, we will have 2 months and everything. And Nintendo want to make sure that if they're speaking to their investors in Japan, they want to make sure that this rollout is going to be done right
Mm-hmm.
for it. You know.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they're gonna want to. They're not gonna want to. They're not gonna want a Wii to Wii U situation. They
Mm-hmm.
want to avoid
Yeah.
that at all costs, right? So I would imagine that they will, be okay.
Yeah. So.
All right, Ed, let's get into our next story. California law dictates storefronts be honest about digital game ownership. This says, quote, as retailers continue to pivot away from selling physical media, the need for consumer protections on the purchase of digital media has become increasingly more important. Uh, I thank the governor for signing AB 2426, ensuring the false and deceptive advertising from sellers of digital media incorrectly telling consumers they own their purchases become a thing of the past. So, this bill is essentially the reason why a lot of people still have physical media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is because they are scared that the digital versions may go away at some point, and the companies are selling you licenses to play the game while it's available, right? It could be available forever. It could be available for a year. I mean, look at Concord, right? Obviously they're giving refunds, so maybe that's a bad example, but um, it's digital ownership is not a thing, right? And so California is trying to put into law that the digital storefronts need to say they are selling you a license to play the game and not selling you the game itself, which is a really nice change of pace to see something like this.
It happened to me, not game wise, but film wise.
Yeah.
I was a proud owner of Zoom on Microsoft, and I brought some movies on there, and now I can't even access those movies anymore because the license got pulled. Even though I fully purchased them, I can't
Mm-hmm.
watch those movies because the license got pulled. Now there is still a license that I have for a not Jackie Chan, a Jet Li movie. That I still watch on my Xbox and everything. It's still there, but I'm like, if they pull the license, I can't watch that movie, and they have my money
Mm-hmm.
um for it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff like that happened for me on the Microsoft store. Like I had a lot of South Park episodes that I purchased. And those all got wiped. That's just happened to PlayStation, right? When they stopped selling movies and stuff on the store,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's got wiped. So I think the fact that this is happening for digital storefronts is awesome. I mean, I've pretty much gone all digital on the other platforms like Xbox and PlayStation, but Switch, I've been rebuilding a physical collection because, well, A, I don't know if the next console is truly going to be backwards compatible or not, but B, like Nintendo is a big part of my life, and if even if the other consoles went away, like it would suck, but like I don't have the fondness for those franchises like I do for Nintendo's, and I want to be able to play these games as long as the disc doesn't degrade or the cartridge doesn't get wiped or whatever, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I replaced all the pins about what 6 or 7 years ago. I replaced all the pins in my NES, and it works like new. All the cartridges still work. The internal batteries is a question, but the cartridges still work, and it works like it worked 40 years ago. Um, and I want to be able to do that for Nintendo stuff as long as possible. And and that was like the big thing too with Xbox in particular, right? Is like a lot of their games just aren't getting physical copies anymore.
Yeah.
Period. Like Hellblade, Hi-Fi Rush, those are two huge examples of games that just don't have physical copies. I know Hi-Fi Rush is getting one through limited run, right? But
Right.
the fact that Hellblade, a major, major, major first party game, did not get a physical release tells you everything you need to know about that situation. So,
And that's why with the PS5 Pro, and I'm bringing that up, is because I tell people, I'm like, if you go into these retail shops, look at the space that these games are getting for both of them.
yeah.
They're literally almost coming extinct. I'm like even Nintendo and stuff. Why you think people who do curbside pickup for Nintendo stuff, you probably see like 25 to 80 cartridges and everything. It's
Mhm.
because like people want to make sure that they get that physical,
Yeah.
because they know that if they don't get it now, it's going to be hard to get in the future. People are trying to avoid these scalpers and everything. They're trying to avoid all of that,
Mhm.
with the physical. So definitely with definitely with the digital purchases and everything, like you just want to make sure that if you paid for this license, it is yours
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah. Um, and the other thing too is like Nintendo doesn't make like if you have the game physically, they don't make you check. They don't do like an online check to make sure, right? Like
Right.
even if you buy a game like we'll say, I think Call of Duty is actually a pretty perfect example, right? Is like um all that's on the disc is the license to play the disc, right? And so once Call of Duty is, done and over with, like if you have that disc on Xbox and the Call of Duty servers aren't up anymore, now granted, it's Call of Duty, it's not going to happen for a very long time, but you don't have those games on those discs. So good luck connecting to a server and downloading the game to play it, right? Because they have these always online connections. And any game is a service, right? Like Destiny is a game that I love and it's going to be gone someday, you know? You're just not going to be able to play it someday. And
Yeah.
that's really sad to think about that. Like, I mean, there's already parts of Destiny you can't play anymore, right? The first two major campaigns, they're just gone from the game. Just
Mm-hmm.
gone. You just can't play them. So even if you were able to play what was on the disc, you can't play what's on the disc because it just doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, it's some of these things you just have to accept for games, but right now it's Nintendo is doing a pretty decent job of saying, "Hey, you buy our game physically, you can play it. You put it in your game, very their games work when you put them in, right? You don't need to
Yes.
download that day one update. Now, granted, Echoes of Wisdom had an update as soon as I popped it in, right? But like
Yeah.
it was a stability patch. It wasn't like we fixed here's the laundry list of bugs that we found in between going gold and publishing, the game. So you have to download this update to progress through the game. That was the big thing with Star Wars Outlaws, right? Is like they found the pre-release or like remember the PlayStation, they issued a statement for PlayStation users that they had to restart their save or they would find progress blocking bugs in
Yeah.
the game. And that's awful. You don't ever want to hear that. So
Right. Even
uh,
especially when you've been delaying the game over and over.
right. Yeah. So anyways, just California is doing a great service to the people by doing this, and I hope that it just passes. I hope more either it gets to a federal level or
Mm-hmm.
it just
Yeah.
happens. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to our next story. Another week, another studio slash publisher closing their doors. Merge Games closes down after 15 years. It's so this is kind of a strange one. Uh, let's see. Another video game company has announced its closure this week. This time it's Merge Games, who is apparently, quote, closing down after 15 years. In a now deleted post, it mentioned how indie focused team was made up of incredible people who worked their hardest. Quote, starting from a tiny, cramped attic and growing to a tight, multi-discipline 22-person team, we've brought hundreds of indie games to storefronts. If you see someone from Merge, just know that they're an incredible person that worked their hardest. So later, there was an update to this post that the games you come to love and those you look forward to will now be coming from Maximum Entertainment. And although the original post said closing down, many of the accounts on social media have reshared the message that they are kind of being folded into Maximum Entertainment. So that seems to be where it's going. A lot of mergers and acquisitions and all kinds of stuff right now in that way. So I don't know if you have anything to say about this, Ed, but it's
It it's a wacky one because I was just like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I've never heard this company. I
I haven't
seen it
either.
that I seen that they were closing, and I'm like, okay, let's put this in, because we kind of want to respect all the developers who, with their studio closed and stuff. But it, merge got merged into something else, and I'm like, oh, oh, okay, that's very weird, but okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Um. So yeah, hope everybody affected finds something new, or you got roped into this new company, or it's always tough. So hope everyone affected finds their way.
yes,
The last story here, Ed. Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom wins Japan's Grand Game Award for 2024. Um, so that's kind of neat. This says it's meant to be all about Echoes of Wisdom this week, but there are also celebrations currently taking place for The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. A year after its release, Link's massive open world sequel outing has now taken out the grand award at Japan's Game Awards for 2024. This award was accepted by series producer Eiji Onuma and the game's director Hidemaru Fubiashi. And it's so interesting to see uh, Fujibayashi is his. I'm sorry, I
mm,
messed that up. It's so weird seeing Fujibayashi's name up there because he also directed Skyward Sword, and a lot of people don't care for Skyward Sword, and then he turns around and makes arguably the two greatest Zelda games of all time.
yeah,
um, which is really interesting. Although he did try some new things in Skyward Sword that did make their way into Tears of the Kingdom in different ways, like the stamina meter and the way you swap items out and all that kind of thing, right? So, um,
yeah. Congratulations to them
yeah.
for it.
But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, an incredible video game. Um, One I know we'll be talking about for years to come, uh, in the same way that we talk about Ocarina and Wind Waker, right? Like in those games, and obviously like A Link to the Past. You know, I think.
Yeah, it's just
Go
so
ahead.
funny that that Tears started trending once again.
Hmm.
because of Echoes of Wisdom. And then
Yeah.
people just like, yeah, I need to go revisit Sears and stuff. Or people be like, I need to go visit Breath of the Wild. And it's just like,
I,
uh,
I am highly thinking about replaying Breath of the Wild, and the only thing that I don't want to do is erase my save that has all 900 Korok seeds.
yeah.
But I guess I'll just have to find them again.
So
Um,
yeah. Well, yeah, congratulations to them for this honor. And everybody, shout out to Stealth 40K. Um, Stealth, he's like always on the Nintendo stuff with the news and everything. And he celebrated his birthday this Sunday, I believe. So I wished him a happy birthday and stuff. So I know he's probably getting a lot of love. So shout out to Stealth 40K. Um, always on the
mhm,
Nintendo news and everything. He's just a truly awesome person. Um, on Twitter or X, if y'all want to call it that. Yeah, he's just a complete awesome person.
mhm. Yeah. Uh, well, Ed, that's kind of it for the news. Should we hit Pack Watch?
Yeah, let's say Pack Watch. I There really wasn't a topic to really discuss because of Zelda coming out. I know David has a banter out about Zelda, but I want to save that one to next episode. Because
Yeah.
like I really want more. I really want people to spend more time with Zelda before we tackle his banter. So I just skipped the topic for this week. And everything.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's
But
get into these. What?
before you go, I'm sorry. But everybody do go to bossrush .net. There is a better talking about negativity isn't needed and isn't the norm in gaming. Very very good topic for you guys to check out. Uh
Yeah.
So yeah, I just seen it and I'm just like, oh, I'm like I kind of wanted it to use it, but I'm like, think that's for another discussion. That's from Josh Martinez. Negativity doesn't have to be the norm in gaming, and you could definitely see it with the way that some people have been acting lately toward other people and toward games. Um, and Josh Martinez wrote a fantastic banter. So guys, do check that one out. I wanted to give him a shout out for that one.
Yeah. Uh, all right. Pack Watch. So these are all coming out this week on 10/4. So Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream. Gosh, there's like 8,000 Sword Art Online games.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just realized that when I typed it in
gosh.
Nintendo's website. I'm like, dang nabbit.
Yeah. Galaxia, a new system allowing players to relive the past, has been added to Alfheim Online. However, Galaxia spins out of control, causing players from all over time and space to be displaced. To set the timeline back on track, Kirito must work with fallen friends and foes. Sword Art Online seems like a dot hack situation.
Yeah, which is a series that I'm surprised hasn't been put into a collection and re-released.
Oh, I know.
Um,
Well, that was like doing the Mass Effect thing before Mass Effect, right? On PS2. Like that, like this, like whatever you did in the first game affected the
mhm.
second game, which affected the third game, which affected the last game, right? Because there was the four dot hack
Yeah,
games on PS2, and then there
two.
was the dot hack GU games. There were three of those on, I guess, PlayStation 3 or
What
4.
When they like $20 per game?
No, no, they were way more expensive than that because my cousin was really into the dot hack games, and he spent like $50 on some of them. And like to get the last one, I know he had to find it like at, it was expensive. So
Okay, because I'm just like, if something they their release schedule was weird because I think it was just like every 3 or 4 months the new Die Hack was out or something.
I think they came out at like once a year. Um, I think they had that cadence. I'm not 100% sure though. Don't quote me on that because I'm not a dot pat
Okay.
person. I just remember that's what it was doing.
Yeah, I just knew that it had like a weird release
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah. Um all right. So also coming out is SpongeBob SquarePants the Patrick Star game. Step into Patrick's shorts and create hilarious physics-based mayhem as you make the open world of Bikini Bottom your playground. Neat. Uh, and then also in 10.4, Zero the kamikaze squirrel. Who said bad guys cannot be heroes? Arrow the acrobat's infamous enemy comes from for some ninja squirrel action with an adventure of his own. Gosh, Arrow the acrobat. They just released the second one on the
Uh-huh.
eShop, but not the
Yeah.
first one. That was
I
weird.
think the first one on NSO? I think the
It's
first one
not.
was on NSO.
I don't think so. I mean, it might be, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Uh While working on Edgar Ector's evil plan, Zero receives a letter from his girlfriend telling him their forest is in danger and her father has been kidnapped. When he tells Edgar that he needs to go to protect his forest, Edgar refuses, but Zero leaves without permission. Now Zero needs to head back to his forest as soon as possible, but the evil madman Edgar Ector, jeez, doesn't take no for an answer and is not planning to make it easy for the hero to go save his beloved forest.
This was Sunsoft, and so they wrote this description. So,
What, dude? Whatever. I understand like the games that aren't English isn't their first or second language
hmm
is like some of the description. I mean, you look at any of these like really niche Japanese games that come over here and they just clearly use like Google Translate and copy paste it into these descriptions. Like some of them are just really bad. And it's not their fault. It's just like, man, it's rough. Uh but yeah, that's kind of what's coming out this week, Ed. Nothing too exciting.
yeah, trust me, everybody. If you go on the eShop and you look at a lot of the indie games that's coming, you would be like, "Oh, these are some questionable content games." So
Yeah.
we're just going to let that go.
Yeah.
We're going
It's
to slide into October with something probably on other platforms to check out. But yeah, these
well,
three,
Mario Party comes out soon. So there's
oh,
that.
I got to get that. That was so fun at PAX West, dude. Jamboree. I had so much fun with you guys.
Yeah, that was about as much Mario Party as I need for the year. It was fun, but the 4-hour stream that Austin, Stephanie, and I did that one day was very stressful.
Interesting.
It said the match would take approximately 90 minutes, and it took almost 4 hours.
A mess.
Nintendo, man, the just Mario Party is the worst. But yet I still want to play at some point again. But
Mm.
whatever, whatever. Uh, anyways, that's it. I do want to say two things before we get out of here, Ed.
Okay.
Well, kind of one thing. It's more like a 1A 1B. So we've been adding shorter expansion passes to the end of episodes, right?
Yes.
To try to give our patrons something exclusive. From a production standpoint, and this goes for the Boss Rush podcast pre-show also, and I'll be making this announcement on the Boss Rush podcast this week too. Expansion pass, or so the Boss Rush pre-show, the Boss Rush podcast pre-show will now be releasing as its own file on Sundays, and then the main show will release on Mondays. It from a production standpoint and a timestamp standpoint, it is much easier to release the Boss Rush podcast pre-show and expansion pass as separate files. But I don't want to release them on the same day because I don't want people to miss stuff, right? So
Yes.
expansion pass will now be coming out on Thursdays as a separate file. It's still going to be short. It's just, it from a production standpoint, it's much easier to do that. So because you don't have to render, 3 or 4 separate files. You only have to render 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, and same with the Boss Rush podcast, especially with timestamps there, because like you just got to add time to everything. It's just, yeah. Anyways, it's just much easier to do that. So just keep an eye out for that for patrons. Obviously, if you're not a patron, nothing's going to change for you. But that's where we're at with that. So
Was that the 1A, 1B?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
All right. Well, everybody, we didn't get any questions, so we're gonna wrap this episode up. Everybody, thanks for listening and watching Nintendo Pop Block, which is part of the Boss Rush Network. If you enjoyed our discussions, please do subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast applications. You can support us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.